Hi, everyone. This is Bernadette from Karista Mortgage, and joining me today is our VIP Realtor partner, VJ Oco. Hi, VJ. Want to say hi to
Hello.
our viewers out there?
Hello, everybody.
I'm so glad we're talking again today about what's happening in the market, what you're seeing. I think from our last conversation, things have shifted. There's a different flavor that I'm noticing right now. And so, VJ, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, from the last time we spoke, it's been a little different. I think I mentioned that there's a lot more inquiries right now with buyers the same as sellers. Last week, actually, just went through a multiple offer situation. So in this market, it's rare to see that happen, but I can see a lot more activity. The listing that my buyer and I went to was only in the market for 2 days. When we went on a showing, there was like back-to-back showing. We were third group out of five. And then the realtor mentioned to me that, oh, we're expecting an offer tonight. And then if you guys are interested, and then obviously we decided because when she said, oh, I have an offer coming, and then messaged me again that there are the two more offers coming. So I'm like, okay, this is not that's not what we're used to, especially in this year. So I think definitely this lower interest rate definitely helped some buyers make their decision. It gives them a little more confidence that if they were to purchase something, it's a good decision, right?
Yeah, and it's very interesting that we talked about it last time that the market is definitely herd mentality because when somebody decides to not jump, they all sit on the fence, and then when they jump, they all start because we are feeling that. We have a lot of buyers who before weren't doing anything. Now I feel this energy. Oh my gosh, I gotta do something now. I gotta do something now
Yeah.
and we're seeing it. What about listings? What are you seeing with your listings?
Yeah, same. Right now, I have sellers that have called me and saying, "What's the activity like for the market now?" And I did mention that a lot more buyers are more out there, so I'm getting a lot more listing appointments. Some
Mm.
sellers are actually wanting to know how much their property is worth, just in case if they were to put this in the market, what kind of expectations are they gonna see. I did tell him that I can't promise you there's gonna be a multiple offer situation depending on how we price your home and obviously how it's marketed and how it's presented. That plays a big factor. But the fact is, the idea is you put it out there, then you're gonna get some traffic compared to what it was.
Before. Okay, so in this with the shifting in the market, what's a best practice or a best move for a buyer to make? And then we'll talk about the seller next. If I'm a buyer right now, what's
Mhm.
something that I should be doing?
So for buyers, obviously, there's, like I said, there's a lot more inventory still out there that have been sitting in the market. Those are the ones that I would advise that we target. Just an additional to that story, me and my client didn't end up going into that multiple because he didn't want to compete. But we had another property that he liked, and that was a little bit over his price point.
Mhm.
And there was no competition on that one. I said, if I was to bring this down to the price point that you would like, would you consider? And I was like, okay, yeah, because we have leverage. We're not competing with anybody. So we
Okay.
ended up putting an offer to this home. We negotiated almost, I think it's 12,000 below asking price. And
Okay.
we weren't
Okay.
competing with anybody and we got accepted. And this is actually his number one. He just didn't think that we could get it because it
Ah.
was a little above his price point, but I got it down to comfortable level, and we're removing subjects today. So it's yeah, find something that's really not people are looking at, and
Yeah.
those are like the hidden gems,
In the
right?
hidden gems.
Yeah, the ones
Go,
that have kind of
yeah.
been like in the market for quite a bit, and then I do normally a market evaluation, market analysis for this home to make sure that what's the proper value for this home, and then that's why you get to see okay, well the price point that we're offering, we're not gonna make sure we're not overpaying. So those are the things that professionals like us we get to do more studies and analysis, and so they get more confident into the purchase.
So the that property that had multiple offers, was that
Mhm.
new? Did it just come out in
And
the market?
it just came out within like
Okay.
2 days, and then they had three offers. So obviously, when I was speaking with the listing agent, it went over asking price. So, but the
Ah.
thing is, that property was older. The one that we put an offer on was newer, and it's on the top floor, and it was like, and then we negotiated it lower. So to compare with an older home and the newer one, it's almost like the difference was not much,
Holy
right?
cow.
So I think it's
Okay.
because when you go into multiple offer situation, a lot of buyers they get emotionally involved into it, right?
Yes.
And they really wanted to get it. Sometimes they would really want to get this home, and it end up being you're offering something that may be higher than what you normally would offer. So
Yeah, it's there's that FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I'm gonna lose this. I gotta have it.
but then
Everybody
you
else wants it. I gotta have it.
but then you're overlooking the other ones, the other side of the,
You
you
become
know.
like this, right?
Yeah, you're overlooking the other homes that are just been sitting there. How about we try those out and negotiate it down, and you're getting a better property for the price that it's actually like really like it's a negotiated price, and we've done all the due diligence as well.
Oh, wow. And
And
that's
so,
why it's important to look at a professional who listens to your needs, who knows the market, and combine that, right? Because you knew what the client really needed and you steered them in that direction. This property that they made an offer on,
mhm.
how long was it in the market?
It was in the market back in the summer. It didn't sell. And then they brought it back in October. So it was in the market for maybe 20 something days
Okay,
and for the
good.
same price point. And
Yeah.
then I did my market analysis. The last home that sold there was actually much higher. And then we priced it and we even negotiated even lower. So it worked out so well and he was so happy because the other homes that sold there was on the lower floor and it sold for much more.
Oh my
And we're
goodness.
on the top floor. So
Holy cow. I
yeah.
think that's really good if you find a motivated seller at that point without
Mhm.
competition, like what you said, hidden gems. That's
Yeah.
really good. That's
Yeah.
a good buy for the client. They
Oh,
must
for
have been
sure.
happy.
Super happy. And the whole family was happy and can't wait to move in. So yeah.
Holy cow. Okay, there you go. Hope as a buyer, you learned a few things from there. What about the seller? What
Mhm.
kind of tactic do you think that is a good practice to do in this market?
Yeah. So the main thing is really pricing your home at the market value. Do a comparative market analysis with the realtor to make sure that you're pricing it because the last thing you want is to be sitting there hopefully that some buyer will but the main thing is don't price it higher than what it should be because it's going to sit there and it's you're not going to get the traffic, you're not going to get the inquiries, and by the time you adjust it a lot of the prospective buyers have moved on already, right? So
Hmm.
main thing is hit it on the spot. If there's competition in this, say if this is the complex and that your neighbors have listed for this much and they haven't been moving and stuff, then obviously there's some adjustment that you need to make sure you need to be a
Hmm.
little different from your competition.
Hmm.
Um, Exposure is one of the main thing. Make it as presentable because the first impression is the main thing, right? A lot of buyers are looking into the internet, they're looking at how
Hmm.
your home, the photos, the videos, or those all matter, right? So,
Mm,
and then putting
mhm,
it the right price and also just be patient. It's not one of those markets that's going to sell within a week. Right now, we're
mm,
averaging about 30, maybe 45 days in the market. If you're
okay.
priced well, just we're getting into the balanced market right now. So yeah, just have more
Right.
patience. And then now that the buyers are slowly coming back, then yeah,
Mhm.
the market is gonna, it looks like it's turning, right? So
It's turning. Okay, so what if I'm a seller and I have
mhm,
an idea? I will not sell unless it's this price. But that price was really just in my
out of
head.
reach. Yeah.
I just came up with this is what I want.
Yeah.
And what is your advice? What do you advise your clients when they say that and it's not really market? Like it doesn't even match what the market is going
Exactly.
to
If
really
that's just
accept.
there's no realistic expectation at that point. Also, you have to know the real motivation, right? If you're just wanting to sell it because you want to hit that price, it's just really just shooting yourself in the foot. So
Okay.
it's just added more stress into showing, and then you're going to be asking why nobody has coming into the open house, and because all obviously there's a lot of sources out there, even consumers
Yeah.
out there, they can do the research and see what's selling. If you're in a grid and you're like your numbers is just like way off, consumers will know that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you're just going to end up like the idea is to sell it, but you also want to sell it at the price that it should be sold for.
Yeah.
At
So
the end,
what do you say to the client if they say, "Oh, VJ, I really
Mhm.
want, so I'm going to hire you, but it has to be this price. What do you say at that point? Do you say, no, I don't take it, or you still take
Yeah,
it? What do
I,
you?
I I normally just tell my clients like I'm here to sell your home, not to just list it. So anybody could list a home, but
Mhm.
who's the idea is for you to sell it. Having an overpriced listing is it's difficult for both parties, like for the realtor and the seller, because we could put as much effort as marketing it and showing it, but if the price is not where it should be, then it's not going to get the traction that you'd want. And the end result will just be at the end, we don't want to be disappointed. So
Yeah.
I tell them, like, if there's a price point that you would want, I would advise them that maybe we should wait. Let's wait until the market heats up a little bit. And then
Hmm.
I'll do another market analysis for your home in a couple months or maybe.
Beautiful.
And then if I see that the price that you want is hitting it, then we go back and then we put your market on that time.
Have you had a horror story where because the client didn't listen and then some agent comes by, oh yeah, if it's me, I'll list it for that. Has that happened?
It happens a lot in our industry because
Okay.
it's like what they're saying is you're buying the listing. Some
Yes.
agent will make promises that, yeah, I'll get it, I'll sell it for you for that price. And then they realize at the end that it's not the promise that the agent
Mm.
told them
Mm.
it's not being met. So it's just disappointment in both parts.
So you really have to work with a professional and listen instead of
Mhm.
being instead of being a brat.
It's human nature, right? Because, as a homeowner like myself, everybody thinks their home is worth something. So sometimes it's like you would always compare it with your neighbor. I'm like, oh, mine has this and this, or it's got to be worth more than that. But
Mhm.
it's not everything. So you have to know the market, how the market is doing,
Mhm.
what's the activity like. You also have to look at the data, what months were more active than which ones are not. So those things that you have to consider. Yeah.
Yeah, and then always get this question recently this week that whether they're buying or they're selling. Bernadette, is this a good deal based on the tax assessed value?
Mhm.
Or if I'm going to sell it, this is what's the market value of your house? This is the value based on the BC assessment. What is
Yeah.
your, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I always get that question.
Yes.
People think that BC assessment is what their market value is for their home. That's not always the case, but we use it as a guideline. Because when BC assessment or the city does their assessment for your home, they don't really look at the upgrades that you've done to the house, right? They look at the exterior or they don't really know the renovations that have been input. So those things obviously play a factor. Some of the BC assessment, some of them they miss the number of rooms in their house. I have a client that their homes are actually 5 bedrooms and BC assessment only says 4 bedrooms. So obviously, the city looks at those and they base it on the number of rooms. They would price it lower, but in reality, it should be more because they're missing one additional bedroom in there, the actual proper room. So don't use the BC assessment as a market value. Um, use that as a
Don't use it as a Bible.
that's what we do as professionals. We look at the recently sold homes that are comparable to your home, same age, same bedrooms, same bathrooms, and that's the market value that we should be looking at.
Okay. Yeah.
And most
Hmm.
likely, this is going to be higher than the BCSS value. And also, you have to keep in mind that the assessment was done July of last year. When you see it, it's like this home is valued at this as of July, I think it's July 31st, 2023 or
2023. Yeah.
2023.
Hmm.
So the city only looks at what the market was August of 2022 to July of 2023. They missed the whole July 2024 and October 2024, which
Yeah.
the market has already changed. So
Hmm.
that's why don't use it you don't blindly just agree with the BC assessment. Just look at the actual market value by doing a proper comparative market analysis with a professional.
Okay. So now we are going to share how they can reach you your phone number, and then the best way to reach out to you. I guess my final question is, VJ, do you work with everyone? Is there a specific type of client you only work with? Do you have something like that, or like
No,
your ideal client? Okay.
no, I work with everybody. I work
Okay.
for first-time home buyers, downsizers, upsizers, investors. I do work with a lot of pre-sales as well. So it's definitely, I'm bilingual too. So I speak fluent. I use that basically as an advantage for people that it also helps. So
Yeah.
I
Mm-mm.
work with like families and like I said, it all ranges. So yeah.
That's true. Okay, good. And then is there an area that you don't like? Okay, which area do you focus on? Do you
I think
special?
basically all the areas of Lower Mainland, Greater
Awesome.
Vancouver, and Fraser Valley. I've worked as far as Chilliwack, and I worked as I think as far as Squamish-ish. Right now, yeah, basically anything in Lower Mainland.
Beautiful. Okay, so that there you go, guys. So I hope you learned a lot of things. I certainly learned a lot of things when it comes to buying, when it comes to selling, what's happening in the market out there, and it's really turning. We can
Mhm.
both feel it. It's really a different market compared to a month ago. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's really that there's more and more buyers coming out there. So if you are a buyer right now, it's very important to be actively looking and to stop sitting on the fence. We have a client who bought a month ago. They were not going to buy. And we said, I think it's very important for you to buy now and not wait. And they did. And now the property that they bought, if they were going to make an offer now, it wouldn't be at that price.
Yeah. So they it already appreciated
It's
by
already
by
appreciated in
taking
that area.
action early on. Yeah. So yeah, we're also very optimistic on what's going to happen in 2025. Interest rates coming down and also the rules and regulations the BC have inputted. So it's going to be a different market for buying and also for selling in 2025. We're very
Yeah.
excited.
Awesome. Okay, there you go, guys. You heard it from here. And if you have any real estate questions, we heard which areas VJ covers. Feel free to reach out to him for any real estate questions. And of course, for any mortgage money questions, feel free to reach out to us here at Karista Mortgage. Thank you.
Thank you guys.